The #1 food for the soul is chicken noodle soup, and that's what I'm teaching you how to make today. Let's talk about the ingredients we need. Of course, it is very simple. We need chicken, some classic vegetables, and some liquid. Doesn't get much easier than that. And of course the noodle, but we'll cover that down the road. We can cook our chicken and make our broth at the same time, and that is the way my mom used to do it. But for the richest tasting, best flavorful broth, I like to roast my chicken first. So I'm gonna show you a couple tips on how to do that. For the same price, you can get a whole cut up chicken. You can ask your butcher to do it if they don't have any out there. They oftentimes don't charge you any extra. Having more manageable pieces makes it just a little bit easier. I've just coated them with a little oil and I'm gonna season them with salt and pepper. To our chicken, I'm going to add just 2 or 3 carrots and 1 onion that's quartered and a half a head of garlic. These veggies are gonna roast with the chicken and we're gonna add those to create our broth. Now add a little more oil and salt and pepper to the veggies, and then I'll scatter them around the chicken. All right, so this goes in the oven, 425 degrees for about 50 to 60 minutes until it's all got a lot of deep brown color and the chicken is cooked. Now this is gonna be some flavorful chicken and a base for a flavorful broth. While the pan is hot, we're gonna add a cup of cold water. That's gonna help release some of that flavor from the bottom of the pan. And now I'm going to remove the chicken and the skin from the bones. We're gonna discard the skin, and then we're gonna use the meat for our soup, but there will be plenty of meat that you can use for a second dish, maybe some chicken stir fry or chicken fried rice. So I mainly just use the white meat for our soup. Chicken noodle soup is all about the broth as far as my family is concerned. So that's why there's plenty of chicken for 2 meals here. A little chicken in the soup goes a long way. Add your bones to a pot, and now we'll add everything else from the pan. You don't want to scrape too much of the darker bits from around the outside. Just that flavor that we released with that cold water is going to be a great base for our stock. To that, I'm going to add another whole large onion that's been cut up, 3 stalks of celery with the leaves, and 3 carrots. You don't need to peel them. We're going to strain all this out later. I have a half a bunch of parsley I'm going to add at the end of the soup, but I'm going to take the stems and use them for my broth. 1 large bay leaf or 2 small ones. Now we'll just cover this with cold water. It'll take about 10 cups of water. Add in a teaspoon of salt. We're gonna bring this to a boil. Let it simmer for at least 2 to 4 hours. Let it get good and concentrated, and then it'll be time to make soup. You smell it? Our broth is done, our chicken is cooked, and now it's time to make the soup. If you're short on time, start here with pre-cooked chicken and store-bought stock. Start with 1 cup finely chopped onion, 2 carrots that have been peeled, and then 2 stalks of celery. Start by melting a couple tablespoons of butter and just a couple teaspoons of olive oil. Start with the onions. When those start to soften, we'll add in the carrots and celery. Add in a teaspoon of salt and a little black pepper. And now for that delicious broth we made, going in. This is so easy and it's ready to go. There's so much flavor going on here, and I truly believe that there are healing properties to a chicken broth. I like to enhance that with just a little bit of a richer chicken flavor with a chicken base. You can get this at just about any grocery store. I always keep this on hand. All you need is like a teaspoon or 2. It goes a long way. It just kind of heightens up that homemade broth we made. We're gonna bring this to a boil, and then we're gonna let it simmer until the veggies are tender, and then all we have to do is stir in our chicken and our noodles. Speaking of the noodles, you do not want to cook them in your broth, or they're going to absorb all that delicious broth, and then you won't have any left. So you boil your noodles in a separate pan. Once this comes to a boil and it simmers, we're going to cover it while it cooks. The time has come and soup is on, adding in our noodles and our chicken. Just like all of my long, slow cooking dishes, I like to freshen it up at the end with some parsley. Let's serve it up. Perfect bite indeed. It's just like covering me like a warm, cozy blanket. It's easy to make, and it's made with the simplest of ingredients. It's one of the best things that can come out of your kitchen. Trust me, especially during this cold and flu season, it's just what the doctor ordered. If you've never made chicken noodle soup from scratch, this is the recipe for you. I hope you'll try it, and when you do, let me know. In the meantime, comment below and let me know what you want to see me teach you how to make next. See you next time. Cut.
That's time out.
Cut.